Abaco's uniqueness lies in the diversity of its farmers. Where the island lacks in size compared to Andros, it makes up for in the ingenuity and adaptability of our farmers. But it's the focus Abaconians have on acquiring and sharing knowledge that sets them apart. If these traits can be replicated on other islands, they say feeding ourselves will not be a question of if, but when.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, straw vendors say they are taking their welfare into their own hands. Tourism leaders say all industry partners will benefit from RCL tourism injection.
Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, they have always been key stakeholders in the tourism economy as they bring a unique perspective, capitalize on the shift. Rumiko Knowles has the story.
There are some 129 straw markets located in Port Lacaya. But member of the Straw Market Vendor Association, Terry Goldsmith, says he is afraid of what may become of the industry after being dealt two deadly blows, the likes of Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19.
And it's left a lot of the vendors struggling, as you can well imagine.
And after years of little to no business, he says they're now going to help themselves.
And we can't wait for other people to come along and say, give us this, give us that. We can't wait for the government. We can't wait for the Port Authority, the owners of Port Lacaya or the Ministry of Tourism, the powers that be. Then they're more likely to support us in our endeavors.
Tia Beckford has worked as a straw vendor in Port Lacaya for the past 7 years and notes that it has not been easy. And as a wife and mother of 3, she found herself asking this question.
What are we going to do? A lot of us are still unemployed. Of my family being in the tourism industry and just saw what's happened since the hurricane and the pandemic.
With 2 hotels reopening its doors and the government's purchase of the Grand Bahama International Airport, she says the straw vendors are hopeful that things will soon turn around.
We are looking forward with a lot of optimism. It's a great step.
As owners in the Port Lacaya market, they say the objective is to hear each other's ideas and begin to discuss the way forward for the industry. They maintain that if change is going to come, it's going to come from themselves.
So the objective is to bring them all together and say, okay, how can we help ourselves? Give us the ideas. How can we compete? And you've got a lot of creative people down there, right? Like Tia right here. They're very creative. They're very concerned. And we hope to be able to bring the straw market back as it used to be in the days gone by.
Hopefully everyone can come and brainstorm, bring their ideas. That we hope the vendors are very, very, we've struggled a lot. And so with this meeting that will happen on Thursday, we hope to gain the support of everyone. And if we do that, then we can find success. We just need to get out of the cart and start pushing it up the hill so that we can find success.
Rumiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines is expected to begin home porting in the Bahamas next month. According to tourism officials, the cruise line will leave New Providence on June 12th and will arrive in Grand Bahama on June 18th. Tourism officials say when passenger attractions on the island, but all activities will follow the bubble method that is being used across the world to safeguard persons from the COVID-19 virus. Passengers will interact with each other while at the various attractions, including the Port Lucaya Marketplace. Now, some business owners in the Port Lucaya Marketplace are concerned about the bubble concept and whether or not Bahamians will be allowed in the marketplace at the same time. Manager at Freeport Jewelers, Lauren Madu, says she's not sure how the bubble would work or if it would be successful, but she is prepared to do whatever is necessary.
That particular day, I think they're saying that Bahamians won't be allowed to mingle with the tourists as they come off the ship. My feeling is that if we put the protocols in place and we do what is necessary, I don't see where there would be a problem with Bahamians being here and shopping at the same time that these persons are off the ship.
Owner of Zorba's Restaurant and Agave, Nick Vacato, says Grand Bahamians have helped to push their businesses for years, and they should be allowed into the marketplace while tourists are there. But overall, he says with some tweaking, he believes the bubble method can work.
It could work. We could assign like parts of the restaurants just for Royal Caribbean, and the rest have to be for locals. You can't tell your locals they can't come in the day when Royal Caribbean is coming in. You know what I mean? It's not fair to the locals, and it's, to me, I think it could work, but we will just have to have a designated area just for Royal Caribbean, just for that one day. It's only one day out the week, and it's only for 6 months. This is a trial run. If it works, I think other ships will follow suit. And everybody's looking at Royal Caribbean right now. I think it could work for Port Lucaya, designated areas for them, but the locals at the same time. Like, we'll have the Royal Caribbean in one dining room, for example, and the locals for the rest of the restaurant.
While the manager of the Ministry of Tourism office here on Grand Bahama is clearing the air regarding the bubble concept and how it will impact the Port Lucaya marketplace. He says, contrary to reports, the bubble concept does not mean Bahamians will be excluded. Italia Hall has those details.
We're going to make this work. Royal Caribbean cruise ship commitment to Grand Bahama is a solid one.
The manager of the Ministry of Tourism Grand Bahama office, Stephen Johnson, says the tourism team is excited about Royal Caribbean's week trip beginning on June 18th. He confirms that the plan is for passengers to visit various attractions on the island, but all activities will follow the bubble method, where these passengers will be restricted to only interact with each other. Now, when it comes to the Port Lucaya marketplace, he says there's no need for alarm. That is going to be exclusive for the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line passengers every Friday. And what we're going to do is strategically, we have a plan in place to where if there are Bahamians in the stores, we are going to wait until they come out. And then we're going to be utilizing various persons in my office and the port office to have as much as possible to bring everybody in this equation. He says a meeting was held recently with management of the Port Lucaya marketplace, as well as business owners, to explain the plan. Johnson asserting that a shutdown of the Port Lucaya marketplace for locals is not a part of that plan, but the strategy is to ensure that it is a safe area for passengers as well as Bahamians. Persons are coming in vaccinated, and they're also coming in with a PCR test, even though the Bahamas has lifted the requirements for PCR once you've been fully vaccinated. So we want persons to basically stop jumping the gun. We want you to just wait. We are trying to utilize everybody as possible in this equation. We think there's opportunities here for everybody in Grand Bahama. Johnson says Royal Caribbean is committed to Grand Bahama. Port Lucaya Marketplace was the most difficult bubble to put together for Royal Caribbean Cruise Line because there's so many entrances and exits. But we have figured out a way, and so far the Port Lucaya medical personnel, they're happy. But again, everything is changing. Next week, we have 2 Royal Caribbean Cruise Line officials coming in town. They're going to be with me for about two days in Grand Bahama. And we have about 17 to 18 tours
planned throughout Grand Bahama.
And he says there are other locations that the passengers will be visiting as well.
I want to create every Friday an opportunity for Smith Point for between the hours of 8 o'clock and about 2 o'clock. Now, that area will be locked off. Bahamians wouldn't be allowed in there between those hours. And Bahamians are not there anyway at that particular time, but that will be exclusive for the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line personnel and vendors. Other locations will be like the Garden of the Groves they're looking at the Nature Center, they're looking at Unexo, also like the Glass Bottom Boat experiences, the dolphin experiences. They're also going to probably be looking at the Stingray. We have one of the #1 Stingray experiences in the world out in West End.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Switching gears now, preparedness is key as we count down to the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. In this report, NEMA's supply officer outlined some of the issues they are addressing ahead of this hurricane season. Jamila Mizik reports.
The 2021 Atlantic hurricane season is expected to be an active one, and the National Emergency Management Agency is working around the clock to ensure that persons are well trained and to deal with any storm that may impact the island. NEMA Supplies Officer and Instructor Tammy Mitchell giving this update ahead of the upcoming hurricane season.
Throughout the year, we're still doing ongoing training sessions, and as everybody's aware, because of COVID-19, a lot of our training has to be virtual. We do have the opportunity based on numbers, and we're still following the health protocols and doing in-person training. This is a part of that process what we're doing now. Even currently today, there is virtual training going on. We have emergency management training that's going on this week as well. So NEMA is actively still participating in a mitigation and preparedness role for the upcoming season.
Mitchell notes that NEMA is still in the process of identifying suitable shelters, which is a bit of a challenge, especially after Hurricane Dorian.
We're hoping to have something ready before the end of this month or the first part of May, but shelter is always going to be a concern. Shelters actually is also always going to be a concern here on Grand Bahama, particularly after Dorian. But our goal is to check as many buildings and see where best they can fit to serve as emergency shelters for the island.
And as always, she is stressing the message of always being prepared.
When you're talking about preparation, you don't want to just wait for the hurricane season. Persons and families should have preparation modes going on the entire year. Now is the time when you should heighten that because, this is the end of April. So you want to now begin to look at your supplies, look at your surroundings, look at your equipment, look at your tools, look at your cash flow. Look at your family structure. Make sure everybody is aware that this is something that we constantly have to continue to do, is to prepare.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
A man who was granted asylum in the Bahamas was picked up by the United States Coast Guard this weekend on the high seas during an apparent human smuggling attempt. Diara Lutawaldi, who is a citizen of Eritrea, that's in Northeast Africa, was handed over to Bahamas immigration at the Freeport Harbor this Saturday. Tawaldi was one of 8 persons intercepted by the Coast Guard some 26 miles off West Palm Beach, Florida. The others include 3 Ecuadorians, 2 Romanians, 1 Haitian, and 1 Costa Rican. They all appeared in the Freeport Magistrate Court No. 3 on Monday before Magistrate LaQuay Lang, charged with illegal embarkation. They all pled guilty and were each levied fines of $300 or, in default, served 3 months at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. They were also ordered deported upon payment of their fines or on completion of serving their court-imposed custodial sentences. And the police at the Northeastern Station here on Grand Bahama need your help in locating 36-year-old Norrell Anthony Storr of number 123 Scott Avenue, Freeport. Storr is wanted for questioning on housebreaking and stealing charges. He is between 5 feet 11 inches and 6 feet 1 inch. He is of dark brown complexion and medium build. If you know where Norrell Anthony Storr is tonight, please contact the Northeastern Police Station at 350-3400. And stay with us, there's more news right after this break.
Come on down. Now, The management and staff of Esquire Men's Freeport extend a happy Mother's Day to all mothers. For that special attire, visit Esquire Men's at number 8 Lucaya Shopping Center.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Bahamas, get ready for our national launch coming June 1st, 2021. For the first time ever, any store can advertise their sale items or discounted coupons on ZNS. And you get TV and radio commercials at never-before-seen prices. So if you got stuff and you want to put it on sale, we will tell the entire Bahamas about it. So merchants, log on to ZNSShoppingNetwork.com and click the Merchant Inquiry button and get started.
Did quarantine, lockdowns, and curfews help you to discover your inner chef? Well, I want to hear from you. Munching with Megan is back. Let's get cooking.
All new guest chefs and all new flavors. Tune in this and every Wednesday on the ZNS TV network.
The month of May is reserved for honoring mothers, perhaps the most important woman in all our lives. The Broadcasting Corporation invites you to celebrate Mom by sending us your Mother's Day greeting no longer than 10 seconds for TV, or book your spot live on radio. Call the sales department here at ZNS for more information. 351-3430 or 352-9713. ZNS, creating memories and spreading the love.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. This is Teachers Appreciation Week at the St. George's High School, and educators at that institution received a warm welcome yesterday as they entered into the school gates. Although health protocols dictate the wearing of masks, officials at the school say they are not masking their appreciation for their teachers who are doing an exceptional job. Vice Principal Melissa Cooper says they are pulling out all of the stops to celebrate this week.
Well, this morning, our teachers were greeted with Mr. Ricardo Major. I'm sure most persons know him. And Mr. Ricardo Major came and he serenaded the teachers. And as they walked in, we were able to shower them with, expressions of love. And we would have given them a continental pack, a 5-star continental pack. Tomorrow, we are going to say cheese because we have Sandbasket who will come and we will have a photo booth set up. And so our teachers are able to come in, they'll have props, they're able to take some photos, as many photos as they want, just to remember this week. On Wednesday, we have a very special day. We're going to be giving all of them a little token because they are the key to our student success. And throughout the day, on the hour, every hour, we're going to do a raffle. And so one teacher will walk away with a lovely gift at the end of that hour. On Thursday, when the teachers would come in, we would have a sweet treat at lunchtime. Courtesy of Frank's, where we're partnering with them, so they will come, we will pay out some monies, but they're going to come and they'll be able to get a sweet treat for that day, kind of to cool them off as well, but just to let them know how sweet they are and how they are such awesome teachers. And then on Friday evening, we're going to have a sip and paint over in our gym. So we are so excited to celebrate our teachers. Our students love them, we love them. St. George's High teachers truly rock.
She adds that she feels that teachers are the bedrock of society and it is important to recognize them.
When you look at every profession or every professional became who they are because of a teacher. Wherever we are in our lives, it's because of a teacher. Someone poured into our life. And so when you look at our students being successful, yeah, we have some students who are really, really brilliant, but our teachers go that extra mile to just push them along. And so that's why I say the teachers are the key to our students' success. They go the extra mile. Some do morning classes like 7 a.m. Some do evening classes, whatever it takes just to get our students to learn and be the best.
A student of Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy accomplishing an amazing feat, as she is being recognized as the student with the best BJC results on this northern island for the year 2020. The institute sustained major structural damage during Hurricane Dorian, and many schools had to resort to virtual learning due to the global pandemic. But the conditions did not affect this top scholar. Rumiko Knowles stopped by the institute to talk to this incredible student.
Health science, general science, math, Bible, English, and Spanish. Those are the subjects that a student at Tabernacle Baptist received all A's in when she sat her BJCs in 2020. Quiet, but very academically sound is how principal of Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy, Ashnell Bean, describes Hazel Taylor, a student of the institute who sat her BJC exams in 2020 and passed 6 of them with flying colors.
I think that is an awesome feat for her, because most of the time she was not in a classroom setting. She was at home in front of a computer trying to be taught virtually. And as you know, the virtual teaching was a bit of a challenge for a lot of students.
But for this 8th grader at the time, it was a breeze.
It wasn't hard because I had God by my side and I trusted in Him.
When asked how did she prepare for the BJC exams, she says,
I set a schedule in place. I followed by the schedule day by day. I didn't go too overboard with learning my schoolwork. But yeah, I kept a content schedule and I had my mom by my side.
Now, while it is an outstanding accomplishment, the principal says it is not uncommon for the institute.
We've had students that not just with the BJCs, but BGCSEs were recognized for their outstanding performance in those exams. And we had our head boy at this time and our deputy head boy. They were also invited to Nassau before this COVID situation because of their outstanding accomplishments in their
A major feeding program is getting ready to embark on one of its biggest projects to date. Over the past 13 months, Keepers Prayer Watch 5.0, along with the help of partners, have distributed more than 2,500 bags of grocery, 2,100 food vouchers, served over 2,000 hot meals, and assisted many ministries along with non-profit organizations in the Bahamas with their feeding programs. Next week, the Nassau-based program will be on the island of Bimini. Rumiko Knowles has more.
Keepers Prayer Watch 5.0 is a prayer group based in Nassau, which began a year ago at the start of the pandemic. The group met 3 days out of the week for intercession. One of its leaders, Pastor Delton Ellis, says during one of the meetings, he told members that it's time to be a blessing to others.
Since then, we have been feeding people in Nassau, in Grand Bahama, in the United States. And then, of course, we had an opportunity to send some stuff into Honduras. This week, or in the month of May, we are getting ready to head into Bimini. Of course, Bimini is my birthplace. I was born in Bimini, grew up in Bimini. My father is still alive in Bimini. And this is the month that we are taking our feeding program on the island of Bimini. That will be in the month of May.
The Bimini Senior Assistance Feeding Program will begin on Monday, May 10th.
We're getting ready to deal with our seniors on the island of Bimini, and then we're getting ready to deal with some of our government workers, and we have added something now also to take care of our children. All of that will take place between May 10th and 14th of next month.
Ellis says they could not do it without the help of persons coming on board to sow generously into the feeding program.
And I'm telling you, people have been very kind to be a blessing to those who are without. So many persons, Rumiko is going food, without electricity, without housing, and we just believe we can do more than just pray about it. One of the things I said to our people, let's pray and work, because faith without works is dead. We could pray that God would change things, but then at some point in time, we have to get up and help change the things. And last year, I was very pleased with the way the contributions came in to be a blessing to our people here in the Bahamas in particular.
Now, after the giveaway in Bimini next month, Ellis says they will then take the program into Abaco.
There are a number of people on the island of Abaco that join us 5 o'clock to 6 a.m. every morning for prayer. And so we'll be reaching out to Abaco. We're not sure yet whether or not we're just going to go ahead and do food vouchers or whether we'll go ahead and actually put grocery bags together. We're still working through that plan, but we do know for a fact that we want to take care of at least 150 people on the island of Abaco.
And to persons that would like to contribute to the program, Ellis says he can be reached at deltonellis@gmail.com or contacted at 457-0849. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Well, that's a check on news, but of course, our Jay Philippe has your sports update.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. It's been a journey for this international soccer player with Bahamian ties. A recent trip to Grand Bahama brought back some memories. Ramiko Knowles has more.
Born and raised in Montreal, Noah Eisenberg is the first Canadian to sign a contract with a professional soccer team in Wales. But that's not all. The Canadian attributes much of his success to the training he received at the hands of members from the Freeport Rugby Club during his trips to Grand Bahama.
If you ever see Mark Hardy or speak to any of the guys at the rugby club in Freeport, they've always known my goals and ambitions. I mean, there's a reason I would train in Freeport. Normally it's a place you go on holiday, but for me, it's a home away from home, and it's a place where I would go just to train that much better in the climate.
Noah's grandparents brought him to the island at the tender age of 4, and from then on, it became a home away from home. Through the years, he developed ties with other soccer players on Grand Bahama and was surprised at the high level of play.
So every time I come to Freeport, I train at the rugby club. I train with Mark Hardy, and to be honest with you, I was very pleasantly surprised with how good the level was. I thought that a little island like Freeport with 35,000 people, that the players wouldn't be great, but the level was very, very high. So I was very happy for that. And that's why I want all these Bahamians to know that if they do aspire to play at the next level, there are opportunities. Of course, it's harder from an island with limited resources and limited scouting and limited things like that. But there are opportunities if you aspire to play at that next level.
And as he moves up in his career, Eisenberg wants to give players on the island hope that they too can still find golden opportunities within the sport. He leaves this advice.
And I think the biggest advice I could give is surround yourself with positive people and keep going. And I think the main thing I'd say, and Freeport does the best job of it, is have fun. When you're young, what's so important is develop, keep training, keep playing. That's how you get better. That's how you become a better player. And I could say that I've never had a bad time at the rugby club in Freeport. So I know they do a good job with that.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Total Sports.
Switching gears now, scores from Week 2 of Little League Baseball at the Emera Baseball Park. In coach pitch, the Red Sox defeated the Predators 14-5. In minor league play, which is 10 and under, the Buccaneers dominated the Lions in winning fashion 15-1. In major league play, 12 and under, the Buccaneers team took down the Lions. The final score there was 18-4. In junior league play, the Hurricanes got the win against the Predators 13-1. Now over in senior play, in Game 1, the Eagles defeated the Rebels 9-2. The winning pitcher was Ernie Barr with 11 strikeouts. In Game 2, it was the Eagles that got the win against the Reapers 9-5. Kyron Bethel was your winning pitcher. And that's a quick check on sports right here in the North. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Treasure the love of your mother. Give her a gift she will treasure forever. Shop Bellevue Gifts and Supplies for that special personalized gift basket. Happy Mother's Day.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Bahamas, Get ready for our national launch coming June 1st, 2021. For the first time ever, any store can advertise their sale items or discounted coupons on ZNS and get TV and radio commercials at never-seen-before prices. So if you've got stuff and you want to put it on sale, we'll tell the entire Bahamas all about it. So merchants, log on to ZNSShoppingNetwork.com and click the Merchant Inquiry button today to get started.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Olympia Ward, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you for always joining us. And we want to say a special happy birthday to Doreen Russell in Long Island and to Michael Smith. That's our Valerie's husband. We hope you all are having a fabulous day. That's going to do it for us here in the North, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a wonderful evening.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the national report, COVID deaths climbing. A cabinet minister dismisses concerns of an early election, and charred remains found in this morning's fire. Those stories and more when the Bahamas tonight, the national report, returns.
You are a healthcare worker. Thank you for fighting on the front lines against COVID-19. It is normal to feel stressed when taking care of others who don't feel well. But remember to take care of yourself. Don't forget to rest between shifts, eat healthy meals, engage in physical activity, and stay connected to family and friends. Avoid harmful coping strategies like drinking alcohol. For managers of healthcare workers, the same tips apply to you. Here's how you can help. Consistently give updates. Rotate staff between high and low stress level functions. Encourage work breaks and ensure that they know where they can find help. We are here for you.
This portion of the news brought to you by BTC's Dollar Holla Deals.
Good evening, I'm Makush Lopinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. Thanks so much for tuning in. The Bahamas still far from its pre-COVID days, and crawling out of its existing black hole is going to take a whole lot of work. Proof of that lies in the numbers reflected in the central bank's latest monthly economic report. Take, for instance, data from the Ministry of Tourism, which show that total foreign arrivals fell by 79.2% in March. Again, keep in mind, the ongoing pandemic has led to a decrease in air arrivals, and cruise traffic is non-existent. Overall, arrivals were off by 93.2% for the first 3 months of 2021, exceeding the 14.7% reduction the same time last year. Now, if we were to zoom in on the numbers coming in from the Nassau Airport Development Company, or NAD, there was an 80.7% fall off in total departures. On the flip side, AirDNA revealed positive activity within the short-term vacation rental market during the month of March, which was supported by domestic demand. A snapshot of vacation rentals show that of the 3,981 active listings throughout the island chain, the occupancy rate reached 48.4%. And while that may still seem a bit low, compare that number to 42.6% hotels pulled in during the same period. Well, CNBC News citing White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci, who recently reported that about 8% of Americans who received one dose of the Pfizer or Moderna COVID vaccines have not returned for the second shot. He advised, though, that skipping the second jab could cause problems as a single vaccine shot triggers a weaker immune response compared with two. That many of those Americans may want to come here, and those who do must be fully vaccinated. Well, with more than 10,000 Bahamians already receiving their first shot of the two-dose AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, the rollout for the second is scheduled to begin next Monday, May 10th. The Prime Minister told us in Eleuthera on Friday that he's optimistic that Bahamians will take full advantage.
I think the Bahamians recognize that in order to move about to different parts of the world, and Bahamians love to travel. They love to travel. They recognize that they must meet the vaccination requirement. So they can't just do one dose and then abandon the second. In order to meet the international requirement that we expect will happen sooner or later, they must have the second dose and 2 weeks beyond the last shot.
Meantime, Tourism and Aviation Minister, the Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar, today addressed concerns about the possibility of visitors presenting fake vaccination cards.
Of course, this is an ongoing and very fluid situation. The difficulty is that certainly in the United States, where over 90% of our foreign visitors originate, persons are getting vaccinated in many different areas, many different municipalities, many different states, and all of them have a mechanism by which to report that you have been vaccinated. So that obviously is creating some difficulty. We're trying to work through that and what would be the best solution. I guess the world is looking at this, everybody's looking at this, and there's been talk of a COVID passport and some sort of electronic means. We're obviously grappling with this issue, but for the time being, we think that the records that people are presenting are genuine, and we're just developing a mechanism on how best to validate that.
Well, that brings us to the latest COVID numbers, and just as local health experts predicted some months back, the virus's third wave is brutal. More hospitalizations and, sadly, more deaths. Case in point, Monday's dashboard reflecting the death of a 92-year-old man over in Long Island on Sunday, May 2nd, the 12th such victim recorded in recent days. This as another 24 deaths are under investigation. 4 people remain in the intensive care unit. As for confirmed cases, the overall total there now 10,602, following another 26 new infections, 19 here on New Providence, 4 on Grand Bahama, and 1 each on the Berry Islands, Exuma, and Andros. 1 New Providence resident has a history of travel within 14 days. Some 72 people recovered on Monday and 131 tests completed. Of that, 6 were repeat tests and 1 was inconclusive. Also making national news this Tuesday, the Minister of National Security responding to concerns that an early general election may be called. This based on reports that the Royal Bahamas Defense Force has asked government department heads to provide a list of all those who will vote in the advanced poll. The Honorable Marvin Dames telling reporters before the weekly cabinet meeting this morning that that directive did not come from him, but assures there is no cause for alarm.
I won't read too deeply into that. As I said before, this is a normal occurrence, and I don't think you should be reading too deeply into that either. Only one person will determine the date of the election, and he hasn't yet done so. And that is the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Now, we know that these agencies will often prepare earlier than most. That is not out of the ordinary.
Well, after Bahamas Power and Light officials publicly apologized for fuel logistics issues at the company's Blue Hills power plant yesterday, the minister is tonight giving more insight into what caused the problem. Here's Carla Palmer.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Public Works, the Honourable Desmond Bannister, says executives of Bahamas Power and Light did the right thing as a precaution to the public, informing of the possibility of power outages here in New Providence. Minister Bannister explained the circumstances of the notice, saying BPL came into receipt of some contaminated oil as to the reason, if at all, power outages would occur.
This BPL contracts the provision of fuel out to various companies. There's some companies in the Bahamas that have had these contracts for many, many years and have provided fuel on a reliable basis over those years. So that has happened for many, many years, for decades. There's the batch of fuel that came in recently that BPL suspects was contaminated. It's not provided by BPL, it's provided by suppliers. Okay? When BPL used this fuel, it caused some challenges with their engines. They've gone through a whole bunch of parts, replacing of parts, replacing filters and other challenges because of this fuel. So they have to get the fuel out of their engines and be able to get more fuel in quickly.
Minister Bannister says BPL is working assiduously to rectify the problem.
So they are working now with the supplier to seek to get fuel that's not contaminated, get it in the system, and we're anticipating that things will work out okay. If there's outages, they'll be short, they'll be in isolated areas, but we don't anticipate that there's going to be any widespread outages.
As for any financial compensation, Minister Bannister says BPL executives will work it out.
And those financial issues will be worked out. The challenge is to ensure that we have good fuel and we run those engines. You know, we've got a lot of new engines in the country. We've had reliable power, even in the middle of the pandemic. We couldn't complain about power going off last summer. We had a wonderful summer. Everybody was home in the pandemic, burning air conditioning in their houses. And BP, we didn't have the kind of challenges we had in summers past. So we're anticipating the same kind of summer. We just have to work through this challenge.
Still, Minister Bannister could not say definitively how soon the matter will be resolved. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Still to come, another community in the capital devastated by fire, and we've got an update on those 2 teen girls reported missing. Those stories and more when the National Report continues. And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch live at 5 with Amajal Knowles, followed by the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern edition at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Home. Some say it's where the heart is, where you're most at peace, most yourself. Come home with Commonwealth Bank as we reopen our doors to the familiar comfort, amenities, and superior service that you know and love. Did you miss us, Marsh Harbor? We've certainly missed you. Welcome home.
I wanna go home.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
You know that feeling you get when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Bounce. Bounce. Bounce.
It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. Lowest consumer loan rates in the country. Trying to bank with no stress, we make it too easy. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. Apply today for a B.O.B. Visa credit card, debt consolidation loan, or easy top-up. B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A gruesome discovery for firefighters responding to reports of another massive blaze here in the capital. Charles Fisher was on the scene.
Firefighters have been quite busy over the last 3 days. After responding to a major fire Sunday in the Peardale area, they were here once again, 7th Terrace and West Avenue.
On their arrival, they met the top portion of a 7-unit, 2-story structure engulfed in flames. The officers proceeded to extinguish the fire. And sometime around 6 a.m., that process was completed, and they conducted a search of the building and discovered charred remains. Police will await the identification of that body to determine that person's identity.
Now, even though no identification was made, distraught residents of the burnt-out complex was visible, some taking a seat after a heartbreaking turn of events. Miss Wilson tried to explain just how things unfolded during the early morning.
We were sleeping, so we don't really know exactly what really happened. I smelled the smoke, so I go in the window and go check, see. I say, man, I smell smoke. So when I heard my brother say, come out, come out, I said, what happened? He said, come out, come out. So I panicked, and I really don't know what I was doing. But the only thing I know, my daughter got my baby and come out, and the 2 little ones come out, and my mother come out, and the next lady was living in there, and she come out too. Didn't really know she was come out, so I gone back and gone knock on the door. I couldn't breathe, so I just come out. When we come out, it's dead and ready. We catch fire. Ain't nothing we could do. We couldn't save him because the fire happened in his bedroom, so we couldn't help him.
Also located in the complex is Body of Jesus Christ Kingdom Outreach. Pastor is Uriah Davidson.
We did a walkthrough just now, an assessment of it, and we have a lot of water damage and a lot of smoke and water damage so far. We're just saddened that a life was lost.
For the ZNS Network News, I'm Charles Fisher.
Meantime, Police Commissioner Paul Rolls defending the fire department in the face of criticism of its response to Sunday's Jenny Street fire that left several families homeless. Residents charged that fire crews were ill-equipped with water to battle the blaze, suggesting that more homes could have been saved. Commissioner Roll, who appeared on ZNS Radio's Immediate Response with Spence Finlayson this morning, says the department has standard procedures for different scenes. He also shared what the fire department encountered.
Officers responded. They found that this fire was huge. The wind was picking up. So they dispatched the 2 and then the third truck. And then they do what they call a joint where they connect all of the hose to keep that water. So you try to cut it off at different phases. But eventually,
the water run out. Yeah, okay.
And then when that happens, the fire officers will then connect to the
fire hydrant. Yes.
The issue they had was there was no water in the hydrant.
Yes.
And
so that's a challenge.
Right. And so one of the truck then had to go. I think they have a mapping of where all the fire hydrants are. We know where they are.
Yes.
And so they had to go and look for a hydrant that they could get pressure to get water.
With 2 structural fires taking place hot on the other's heels, the Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honourable Frankie Campbell, says his team stands ready to assist those in need.
The Ministry and the Department of Social Services responded immediately. A number of those persons were given temporary housing the following day. The Urban Renewal and the department conducted a walkabout, and at least 13 persons thus far have been assisted. I made a call to the fire department. It is important that a report from the fire department is given so that further assistance should be had. And I've been given the undertaking that once those persons go in, they have to go in and initiate, because each person will have something different to report that they would have lost. And the fire report needs to state what was lost, not just that there was a fire.
The minister admits, though, that there may be challenges in providing long-term assistance.
We need to acknowledge that there is a limit to the assistance. And so the assistance is emergency. The assistance is immediate and short-term. These are incidents that might need to cause us to reflect, might need to cause us to engage insurance companies. And I know the thought of insurance is expensive, but there are options for insurance. There are options for contents. There are options for just your roof. There are options that need to be considered. But if we expect in every incident that the government will make us whole, that is not realistic. But as the humanitarian arm of the government, I do commit that to the extent that we're able and to the extent that needs continue to exist, we will continue to assist.
The police commissioner is adamant about it. He will address any corruption or abuse of power in the force head on. He's been using community policing to strengthen ties between the public and the police, as well as shake off the negative perception of officers.
We have bad apples in every organization.
Yes, yes, sir.
So you have people will make general statements.
Right.
You can't
and we do that as behemoths.
To say the police is corrupt or the police force is corrupt.
Right.
That is stupidity.
Yes.
Because if you go in any department, you will find corrupt people.
Yes.
And some of the people that will make those statements need to question themselves.
Right. Yes.
When you look at the definition of corruption, you have to look at the true definition of corruption. What do you perceive when you say corrupt?
Right.
Okay, we have persons who do things that are wrong. Where we find that, we weed them out.
Yes.
I'm not going to preside over no corrupt police force.
That's not you.
Officers. No, sir.
That's not you.
No.
That's not you.
And I think the public, that's why we gone into the communities, and we have to continue to build relationship with the public.
Now on to some good news. Detectives confirming to our news team that sisters 14-year-old Gia LaFrance and 15-year-old Sharina Bain of Zion Boulevard were found by officers this morning in the area of their home and are in good health. Police are now working to reunite the teens with their family. However, authorities still need your help locating this individual, a sketch of an attempted child stealing suspect. Again, police have no name or address to go on. As noted, they do suspect he's between 26 and 30 years old, is dark-skinned, 5 feet 7 inches tall, and slim build. Again, if you can help police out, call the nearest police station. As police look to wrap up that manhunt, they're also feverishly working to solve that mass shooting at the intersection of Jerome Avenue and Chesapeake Road nearly a month ago. 6 people died that day. A woman and a toddler are recovering from injuries sustained. Police are again appealing to the public to provide any information on the person or persons responsible for this tragedy. To do so, please call the Criminal Investigation Department's incident room at 502-9929 or 502-2046. Now to news from the courts. The Court of Appeal has upheld the conviction and sentence of Richard Bevins, who was hoping his 9-year prison sentence for armed robbery would be overturned. During the hearing, Bevins argued that the sketch of the assailant drawn by a witness was never provided to the police, the prosecution, or the defense. He also charged that the fairness of his trial was affected by the non-disclosure of the sketch to the defense. In response, prosecutors noted that in addition to the visual identification, there was fingerprint evidence connecting Bevins to the scene. They also countered that they were not aware of the sketch until the witness testified. After hearing from both sides, the court found that Bevins' intended grounds of appeal had no prospect of success. They then refused his application for an extension of time to appeal his conviction and affirmed his conviction and sentence.
Mom,
Moms, we will never be able to thank you enough for always being there for us, protecting us, and teaching us how to maneuver through life. And this Mother's Day, we want to honor you in a very special way. So we are asking for you, the public, to send a video tribute of your mother and mother figure to k.sims@ZNSBahamas.com and watch it air live on the morning edition the week leading up to Mother's Day.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Becoming a BTC postpaid customer is fast and easy. And what's more, by signing up, the deals are instant. Tell us about some of the deals available for a postpaid customer.
Well, we always have amazing deals available for our postpaid customers. We have up to 75% off any device that we carry. And you can also get up to $300 off of a phone if you're an existing customer. A new customer, you can get a free phone. And that's some of the amazing deals that we have at any of our major stores.
Let's talk again about switching over from prepaid to postpaid.
Okay, when you switch over from prepaid to postpaid with any carrier, you can keep your same number and you can come into a BTC store and your service will not be interrupted at all. Your friends and family won't even know that you made the switch.
And for new customers, what is the process like for them to become postpaid customers?
For a new customer, you just walk into the store, have a government-issued IDs, passport, driver's license, stuff like that. And once you do that, it'll be that simple. You could just visit one of our reps and they'll help you.
And tell us about some of the postpaid packages.
We have packages to suit any lifestyle and any budget. And whether you're homeschool, whether you have working from home, whatever it is, we have something here that will suit your budget.
So what are you waiting for? Visit any of our BTC locations and sign up and become a postpaid customer. It's fast, it's easy, and it's rewarding. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Be well, and be back here next BTC Connection.
This Mother's Day, you're going to need the card with enough rewards. Not your credit or debit card, your Bahama Health Card. Enjoy discounts and promotions featuring all the things Mom loves. Flowers, spa and beauty treatments, appliances, health, fitness, relaxation, food, and treats. And Mom, if they don't buy it for you, you can buy it yourself. Yeah, Bahama Health got you, Mom. Visit bahamahealth.com for further details. Happy Mother's Day.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Doing the most good, that's the mandate of the Salvation Army here in the Bahamas as it fulfills its goal of helping the less fortunate. And for decades, the nonprofit organization has been doing just that. This year, it celebrates its 90th anniversary here in the Bahamas. Taking us on a trip down memory lane is Divisional Commander Major Clarence. Good evening, Major Ingram. Thanks for joining us on the National Report. Now, give us some idea of when, where, and why did the Army get its start here in the Bahamas?
Good evening. Well, it was in May 1931 that the Salvation Army first arrived in the Bahamas. It was a Commandant Mary Booth from international headquarters in London, England, that had been traveling throughout the Caribbean and Bermuda and commandant booth with 2 officers from Bermuda arrived in the Bahamas in May of 1931. When they arrived, they found a warm welcome by the government and police, and quickly began to establish operations here in the Bahamas. Their first meeting actually was held at Rawson Square as an open-air meeting for which the Salvation Army is very much familiar with, of course. And from there, it established a presence with the Oddfellows Hall and continued to operate from there for several years until it built its first building on Mackey Street, which, of course, is a very familiar location for the Salvation Army these days. It grew from Nassau to extend to Eleuthera and Freeport, and of course beyond the original core here in Nassau on Mackey Street to Grantstown. So it's been ongoing and growing for 90 years.
Well, no doubt you've achieved many strides over the years. Share with us some of the more notable.
I think one of the most notable would be the establishment of the School for the Blind. The School for the Blind has been in operation now for almost 75 years. And it was began by Major Joseph Govar. He was so compassionate and had such a concern for the blind people of the Bahamas that he taught himself Braille so that he could teach the blind in the Bahamas Braille as well. So he would go and study Braille, keep a lesson or two ahead, and then go and teach his students Braille as well. And that operation, that school began, like I say, over 70 years ago. And it originally was very small, but then it grew and was located on Meadow Street, then on Mackey Street, and now in its current location on Ivanhoe Road. And it has become, of course, a staple school for blind people in the Bahamas, for which we are very much concerned for their welfare.
Now, as indicated, you're celebrating your 90th anniversary this year. How is the Salvation Army marking that major milestone?
Well, I guess we're beginning with a little bit of a press blitz, which this is part of it. Beyond this, you will see on our website and media pages in the coming weeks a lot of history. We were going to put up some pictures, which I'm sure people will be interested in over this 90 years. We've been looking back into our records and taking some pictures, and just to say, wow, look at these people, look how young they looked at that time, you know. But also, we're planning to do a larger event come the fall. We're kind of delaying things a little bit because of the pandemic, and hoping that by the fall that we could do a major in-person event. So in the meantime, we will be doing virtual events, cake cuttings, and those type of things to celebrate, but kind of keeping it mostly virtual for the first part of the year.
Well, congratulations on this amazing achievement. Once again, that was Major Clarence Ingram, Divisional Commander at the Salvation Army. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force, meantime, is keeping alive the memory of 4 Marines who died in a national tragedy some 41 years ago. While the official death anniversary is days away, Defense Force officials began their annual memorial with a special event in Rawson Square this morning. Fern Carey has the details.
The portraits in Rawson Square of the 4 Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marines who lost their lives as a result of a tragic attack aboard HMBS Flamingo back on May 10, 1980, now a tangible tribute for the ultimate sacrifice made to the nation. That incident, known as the Cuban incident or the sinking of the HMBS Flamingo, took place just under 6 weeks after the Royal Bahamas Defense Force was established and became a defining moment in the history of the Bahamas. Deputy Commander Defense Force Shanty says although the memories of that fateful event are painful, it is fitting to honor our fallen heroes in a tangible way.
It was 41 years ago when able seaman Fenric Sturp, Marine seaman Austin Rudolph Smith, Marine seaman David Allison Tucker, and Marine seaman Edward Arnold Williams lost their lives at sea during the unprovoked attack and subsequent sinking of the HMBS Flamingo.
The deputy commander noted that efforts will continue to keep the memory of the fallen alive.
This portrait unveiling ceremony today serves as a solemn reminder that while protecting our borders from external threats and perils, officers and Marines continue to serve at the risk of committing the ultimate sacrifice themselves for this, our beloved country.
Now, during that ceremony, relatives reflected on the legacy of their loved ones.
She just was fun-loving, and he would have you laughing. And I was still a bit young when he died, but I do remember the fun times we had as a family.
He walked upright with the Lord. He loved his job. And so I was told he enlisted into the Defense Force immediately. And he was a strong and he was an able, hard worker.
He was quiet, unassuming, very loyal, and very artistic, very conscientious of what he had to do, and always did it to the best of his ability. He never decided to shirk something that he took on.
Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
The local medical community mourning the loss of veteran oncologist Dr. John Lunn. Lunn began his medical career in the Bahamas nearly 6 decades ago. He started out as an internist practicing at the Princess Margaret Hospital and then moved on to cancer care. We've been told that he was the first Bahamian cancer specialist in the country. Dr. Lunn was 85 years old.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Hey guys, it's Shay again with another quick tidbit on the perks of being an Alive customer. Now, if you're already on our network, this may just be a refresher for you, but if you're not, this might give you that extra push. If you're interested in getting a bill every month, or you're interested in the best prices on some of the latest devices, or if you've been a little bit interested in that auto pay option, this might be for you. It's time for you to join postpaid and experience opulence.
Simply put, being an Alive postpaid customer means you selected the plan of your choice and you then pay for that plan routinely every month. Unlike prepaid, where you can fluctuate between 7-day and 30-day, all postpaid plans are 30-day plans. So what are some of those postpaid plans? We have our Liberty More, which is $59.99, gives you 10 gigabytes of data, 500 talk and text minutes. Or we have our Liberty Premium, which is $99.99 per month and gives you 20 gigabytes of data, 1,000 talk and text minutes. Or we have our Liberty Elite, which is $149.99 a month, includes unlimited data, talk, and text, and 1 gigabyte of roaming data. Again, all of our plans include unlimited Alive-to-Alive calls and text. Now listen, we also have postpaid MiFi plans. That's right. If you have a MiFi device, you can purchase postpaid data plans, MiFi Basic, MiFi Plus, and MiFi Preferred. So what else can you look forward to? Even though we are still practicing social distancing during this time, as a postpaid customer, you not only have access to exclusive offers and devices, but exclusive invites to virtual events hosted by Alive in partnership with local vendors and access to special offers at many vendors on our List Rewards app.
So there you have it. If you're a prepaid customer and you've been thinking about making that postpaid switch, we hope that this helped. If you're not an Alive customer, what are you waiting on? Alive, believe in best.
Maybe you should enjoy the savings at Super Value and quality supermarkets like Alma Vienna sausage, 4.6-ounce can, 79 cents. Promo's peanut butter, 18-ounce jar, $2.99. Super Value water, 1 gallon, $1.39. Fresh tomatoes, $1.49 per pound. Premium boneless chuck steak or roast, $5.99 per pound. Super Value Winton open Sundays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Super Value Cable Beach open Sundays 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
The government is entering its third and final phase of demolishing structures in Abaco's Shanty towns. 50 buildings were torn down in phase 2.
Going into the third phase this week. Thursday makes 28 days. You know, we couldn't go into occupied structures until 28 days have passed. And so we are going into third phase beginning this week. People are mobilized and ready to do what they have to do. I've tried not to speak too much on this because of the dignity of persons involved and protect their dignity, but at the same time, we can enforce the law as is required in this country. I'm very, very concerned about the impact, the health issues impacting our people as a result of what I see out there. And you could be assured that in the next week or so, you're going to see some action that is going to happen.
While some 50 structures were protected by the court, Deputy Prime Minister and Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister says hundreds of people were violating the law.
The court ordered, and I tabled this in the House of Assembly, the court ordered nobody was supposed to go and construct any shanty town, any structures. It's very clear. There's an injunction against building any structures. That's been in place for almost 2 years. So how do we get hundreds of houses, hundreds of structures that people are living in violation of the law? And then if they sit there, believe me, if they sit there for a couple of years, they're going to be able to go to the Supreme Court and get certificates of title to that land and own that land. You as a Bahamian can't do that. You want to go out there and be able to acquire your land properly, own it properly, in accordance with the law, and live in a safe manner. Those structures are not safe. If a hurricane comes around, many of them are going to blow away again. If you have fires again, you're going to have problem challenges.
9 Duncantown Ragged Island residents are better equipped to help their neighbors in the event of an emergency after successfully completing a first aid, CPR, and automatic external defibrillator course. And all thanks to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Southern Command. Commanding Officer Captain Glenn McPhee, along with Chief Petty Officer Kevin Fountain, recently presented Ragged Islanders with their certificate of participation at HMBS Gunpoint on behalf of Defense Force Commander Commodore Dr. Raymond King. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, McKisher. Another toasty day, getting near to summer-type temperatures. And outside of our studios just now, we have a temperature of 82 degrees under partly sunny skies, relative humidity at 69%, south-southeast winds at 14 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,017.0 millibars, that's 30.03 inches, the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, well, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 81 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Toll Key, Marshall, Abaco, 80 degrees, 81 in the Berry Islands. Allenstown, Bimini, 82 degrees, 81 in Harbor Island. Rock, San Eleuthera, 81. Staniel Key, Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek and Central Andros, all at 82 degrees. Allenstown, Cat Island, 81. San Salvador, Rum Key, 81s as well. 82 degrees in Georgetown, Exuma, 82 in Ragged Island. Clarence, Down Long Island. Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81. Acklands, 81. Matthewtown, Inagua, 82 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 81 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Pink Center for all areas tonight. The winds are going to be southeast, 12 to 18 knots, wave height 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. Tide-wise, low at 9:31 tonight. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, midweek in the northwest and central islands. Southeast to south winds at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide at 10:24 in the morning. High tide at 4:31 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas tomorrow, southeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we will maintain that caution flag for the southeast Bahamas through tomorrow. And as we take you into Thursday in the northwestern islands, the winds become southerly at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will take place at 11:16 in the morning, high tide 5:26 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, southeasterly flow 10 to 15 and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible, which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interest.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
Nature-based tourism supplies almost $50 million in revenue for Androsians every year. These priceless resources will continue to provide renewable benefits for thousands of people for years to come, as long as we take long-term action to preserve what's rightfully ours. The natural environment has played a vital role in our culture and economy for generations. Let's take care of nature, and nature will take care of us.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to wash down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys' waiter today. Can I take your order?
Oh, I've been jonesing for some grouper dread.
Y'all see this?
See, this ain't gonna work.
Where the fish gone, though?
But how, though?
Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
May 10th, 1980. The date etched in Bahamian history.
One of the Cuban MiGs fly over the vessel.
They came back with another blaze of fire, and this time they hit the vessel straight down the center of the vessel.
And I saw my shipmates scurrying and running and screaming, some starting to jump into the water because by then the Flamingo had caught fire.
And the killing of 4 young Bahamian men.
Fendrick Star. We were swimming together. All of a sudden he started shouting, "Help, help, help." I said, "Swim, man, swim."
I get ready for church. Marty called me from work. Then she tell me what happened. But I was saying, I wasn't thinking. None was that was my son.
Join ZNS TV 13 as we bring you The Ultimate Sacrifice, the HMBS Flamingo story with Beverly Curry, Sunday, May 9th at 8 p.m.
He's running the game. Now big bang boogie, get that kitty little noogie in a nice little shave. I gave Susie a little pat up on the booty and she turned around and said, "Walk this way."
Legend, a story that has been passed down for generations. In our history, there are numerous untold stories.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
48.1.
Must have been a lot of layups.
Right, fast break. We used to call him runaway. You call
Runaway,
him you call him fast break.
Yes,
It's the same
call him
thing.
runaway.
Yeah, runaway.
Yeah.
They get one throw red, that track speed. It would light them up. You see, they couldn't touch me because when you throw it, they're gone. You know? It was good fun.
Sounds like you had a lot of fun.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports. A crowning achievement for Shanty Miller-Weibo as she's being recognized as the top female performer in the region. This from the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association, who has ratified the Bahamian superstar track and field athlete as its most outstanding female athlete of the 2021 indoor season. The reigning Olympic champion in the women's 400 meters, Miller-Weibo ended the indoor season as the world leader in the 400 meters with a national record run of 50.21 seconds that was done at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix meet in New York. The time was also a NACAC record, breaking the time of 50.34. That was held by fellow Bahamian Christine Amertil at the 2006 World Indoor Championships in Russia. Miller-Weibo was also impressive in the 200-meter indoors this year, earning a second spot on the global list with a time of 22.40 seconds, which was also a Bahamian national record, breaking Pauline Davis-Thompson's 26-year-old mark of 22.68. Her 400-meter time topped the world's list. The 200-meter mark was second only to Abby Steiner's 22.38 that was done at the NCAA Division I Championships early this year. 400-meter time is tied for 8th on the all-time list. And currently sitting at number 2 in the Western Conference standings, DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns continue to roll heading into the postseason, continuing to dominate, winning 7 out of the last 10 games. The Bahamian big man on the recent success and the team's chemistry.
To me, I think we would have been in the playoffs a little earlier if I didn't get in trouble in the beginning of my second year. But I'm grateful that we're here and, we're solid, from top to bottom. And, it's a new experience. And, I ain't never win this many games in my life or played this many games in my career to where, there's no stoppage. And I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun, closing out the season strong and just, getting ready for the next level. It's just fun being around great people like that, especially bringing that energy off the court as well. And, that's what we play with, man. Knowing that that's your guy you're going to play for. I'm playing for my brother, and that's what you guys are seeing out there, us playing for each other.
And that's been a look at sports. ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Abuse increases during a crisis. The physical, mental, and social issues that emerge from abuse affect us individually and as a community. Though meant to protect us, distancing measures can increase the risk of women and children to being abused. The lack of physical contact with loved ones and limited access to support services can increase a woman's risk of being abused. Abusers who drink frequently can be dangerous to women and children. If you've experienced abuse, contact a trusted friend or relative. Develop a safety plan. Choose a trusted person that can help get you to safety. Keep a to-go bag packed with important documents, medication, money, and other essentials. If you or a loved one are experiencing abuse, contact the Bahamas Crisis Center or the Royal Bahamas Police Force. You can also contact us at 819-7652 or 812-0576.
It's a part of all our lives. ZNS TV is where we go for information, entertainment, and enjoyment. ZNS is there with something for everyone.
Kids, lunch is ready.
ZNS TV, a part of our lives for 40 years.
May 10th, 1980, the date etched in Bahamian history.
Barbarism, which is one way one could describe the acts that were perpetrated against us.
I've never heard really of anyone sinking a boat and shooting men over fish.
The nation stood still as news emerged of the bombing of the HMBS Flamingo.
One of the Cuban MiGs fly over the vessel.
They came back with another blaze of fire, and this time they hit the vessel straight down the center of the vessel.
I saw my shipmates scurrying and running and screaming, some starting to jump into the water because by then the Flamingo had caught fire.
And the killing of 4 young Bahamian men.
Fendrickstar, we were swimming together. All of a sudden he started shouting, "Help, help, help." I said, "Swim, man, swim."
I get ready for church. Marty called me from work. Then she tell me what happened. But I wasn't thinking. None was that was my son.
Join ZNS TV 13 as we bring you the ultimate sacrifice, the HMBS Flamingo story with Beverly Curry, Sunday, May 9th at 8 p.m.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather on our satellite picture, not much happening out there. High pressure remains in control of our weather, but it is collapsing, so you will see a reduction in the winds over the next couple of days, and that will back off towards the east, paving the way for the arrival of a frontal system, which we expect to get into our area sometime on late Friday evening or Friday night. That will increase the shower activities, and you'll see just a slight drop in the temperatures. Tonight, we are looking at partly cloudy conditions, 75 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow it's going to be lots of sunshine, still on the muggy side, with a high temperature of 87 degrees. Your extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, keeping you in the upper 80s right through Thursday. Front boundary comes through on Friday evening, Friday night, so temperatures will drop a couple of degrees, getting you into the mid-80s. That will hold into Saturday, but by Sunday, things will start climbing and getting close to the 90-degree mark as we get into the early part of next week. Nighttime temperatures, no big changes in those. They will remain in the mid to low 70s over the next 7 days. And just before we leave, Kate Williamson, all the way down in Akron, who's watching our newscast tonight, well, she celebrated her birthday today, so we wish her all the best, especially from her brother, Juan Jones. Mikishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team here, thanks for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network.